was truth in journalism, where brave men and women gave voice to the voiceless. But then the corporations bought the journalist, poisoning the news that we are fed. With those tainted sources, all we ever ate was a steady diet of status quo. This hijacked narrative hid the truth of mass suffering, injustice, and corruption throughout our land. Status quo, status quo, status quo, status quo. To expose this shift to oligarchy came a band of honest journalists. They left the studio and hit the streets to give the microphone back to the people. From sea to sea, the people were empowered to share their truth. Their voices no longer stifled, reclaimed their power. Join the media revolution now.
Hey there, Jordan Sheridan, live from my parents' kitchen. Hope you're doing well. Sorry I'm a little late. Oh, what a day. What a day, what a day. Live on YouTube, live on Periscope, live on Twitch. And we have quite the next couple hours. I'm going to be live now, and I will also be live after the debate tonight. I think the debate is from 9 o'clock Eastern to 11 o'clock Eastern, so that would be 6 o'clock Pacific to 8 o'clock Pacific. I will go live maybe before it ends, if it seems like the last 20 minutes or so is not going to have any fireworks. So definitely tune in later to Status Coup's stream. I'm not sure how many other networks will be live, but I will be live after the debate. I did not sleep at all last night. Jen and I are... Oh, God, I can't wait till this story comes out. You guys are going to... We've just been burning the midnight oil. Let's leave it at that. And Jen is not in the super chat today. She is researching something that we found today. And if you join our members only call tomorrow, night at 7:30 Eastern, we might give some hints. We might have some hints for you. Just what in God's name are we talking about? What are we talking about? What is this story? We can't give you many details, but maybe some crumbs. Maybe some crumbs. So you know the drill. You could sign up today as a member and join our call tomorrow night. It's a video call. I'll remind you throughout this broadcast. We're at 737 members, so we got to get that number up. Let's see. Maybe by tonight, after the debate, we can get up to 750. Sign up. statuscoup.com/join for more. And boy, she's not in the super chat. Oh, it is. Okay. You told me you weren't going to be in this. I guess she's multitasking. She's researching, and she's in the super chat a little bit. Wonder Woman. And I'm just going to keep it real. I have not prepared at all for this live stream. I have been all day, along with Jen, researching. And boy, it's like this story, just when you think you've reached kind of the end of corruption, you find a whole new cave of it. So we found some more stuff today that is very, very corrupt. MT Unit, $5 in the super chat. Beep. Are you telling me to curse? Is that what that's for? If we get a little bit more super chats, this is a super chat. If we get some more super chats, I will let it rip. So, reminder. Everybody, smash the like button. The more people that press that like button, the more people that will see the live stream. We got 114 likes, 200 watching. So we need almost 100 more of you to press that like button. The more people that like, the more people that will see. Become a Status Coup member. We talked about that. Follow us at Status Coup. We're live on Periscope. We got 40 watching on Periscope. Subscribe to our podcast. That's Status Coup's podcast. And join our email list by going to statuscoup.com. Enter your email. And this is new. We're almost at 200 members of our text alert system. You could join our text alert system. We will be texting you later to tell you after the debate we're live. We will be texting you. Sorry if it's late, but you will be getting a text from us that I'm live after the debate because YouTube probably won't notify you. So, text Coup, C-O-U-P. And so we got an email today that not everyone understood what we meant. So on your text, you just type the icon to type in a new message where you would put a number. You put in 474747, and then you put in Coup, and that will get you on our email list. If you have any questions, Jen can explain it in the super chat. So, you have enough subs to not beg for likes? Ozark, how little you know about YouTube suppression. Actually, that's not true. We don't have enough subs to not beg for likes. The reason we beg for likes, if you don't know, is because YouTube's algorithm works in a way that the more people that press the like button of the live stream, the algorithm then props up your video, your live stream more, and it pops up in people that don't currently see the live stream. It pops up in their feed more. So that's why we encourage you to press like, not for our, egos. It's to get through YouTube's suppressive algorithm. So let's get to it. Tonight, big debate, 8 o'clock Eastern. I think you got Tulsi, who, if you're a Game of Thrones enthusiast, is certainly kind of like the Arya Stark of political slayers. She took out Kamala Harris big time. She in the first debate. Then you got Mayor Pee Wee Herman. I mean Pete Buttigieg, who is currently the media manufactured frontrunner apparently in Iowa. There was a new poll that came out showing him in front in New Hampshire. I throw that poll out. It only had 250 people. It heavily oversampled college-educated and people with secondary degrees, which is Pete Buttigieg's main demographic. Obviously, you got Say It Ain't So, Joe Biden, who has been stumbling and mumbling his way through the debates, but still the front runner. You got Elizabeth Moonwalk Warren, who's been moonwalking all over the place, and then Bernard Sanders. And thank you for the super chat. Matty Perry, down 99. What's with Pete Buttigieg and the Tea Party? We're going to get to it. Don't worry. I'm going to go through each candidate that I think matters and give you a little preview. Did I miss anything? Okay. So let's start from least important and work our way up. To me, this debate, the fifth debate, is really, hopefully, unless their arrogance precedes them. And for those of you that weren't watching yesterday, for the next few months, I'm going to be kind of all over the place. Some of the time I'll be at my parents'. Some of the time I'll be elsewhere. I'm looking to save some money before my lady and I move in together. So I am basically a free agent and a nomad. So I'm not going to be in any one place. But right now, I'm in my parents' kitchen, hence the bad lighting. But if you want 60 minutes in polished production, go elsewhere. However, I am going to be setting up a green screen in the next few days, so it will look a little better. Now, let's start, I think, with the people on the chopping block. I think that this is the end of the road for Amy Klobuchar, I hope, Cory Booker. I don't know, but possibly Kamala Harris, if she can't have a pulse. She's, frankly, money has been drying up for Kamala Harris. I think a lot of her donors that were originally for the people, Kamala Harris, i.e. Wall Street and big money, are fleeing to Biden and Booty Judge. I call him Booty Judge now. I think that getting rid of these three will be very important to helping to create a lot more of a direct contrast between Bernie, Biden, Warren, and I personally think this Buttigieg surge, if you want to call it, will be short-lived. I think Pete Buttigieg is going to be attacked tonight. I think Pete Buttigieg is a swarmy little worm, and I think he's going to have a hard time defending a whole lot of things because he has not been attacked. And I think he is going to be attacked tonight, and I think he will be attacked specifically on race. And I was waiting for that light to go out. That light keeps going out. He's going to be attacked on race, I believe, by Booker, Harris, and maybe some others. Obviously, The Intercept reported a major story showing that Pete Buttigieg and his campaign were basically inventing black support, sending out emails, just putting South Carolina black leaders on the email as endorsing him and his Frederick Douglass plan, even though they were like, what? Wait, what? Who? I didn't endorse him. He's going to have to defend that. Maybe he'll say, sorry, it was a miscommunication, blah, 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 blah. But is he going to apologize? And more importantly, it goes further than just basically inventing black support. What have you done for black people in the city you run? You have a terrible relationship with black people. I think tonight, Buttigieg, if he was going to surge into the front, which I think the polls could be a little misleading, if he was going to be surging to the front, I think he would have preferred that it happened closer to Iowa than 2 months before. Because there's a lot of things that he's going to have a really hard time defending. And frankly, I think you're going to see, we're going to get to Bernie Sanders. I think you're probably going to see attacks on Pete Buttigieg from the likes of Tulsi Gabbard. I think you're going to see attacks on Pete Buttigieg from Kamala Harris, Cory Booker. I think you might see some type of elbow from Bernie. Not sure. I think Warren is going to try and stay above the fray. She's tried to avoid attacking. I don't know if that's going to work out. But I think tonight, Buttigieg, I don't love getting into like political predictions. I think there's some things that it's just, how do you answer? And by the way, it's in Atlanta, which is I don't know the exact demographic, but I believe Atlanta is a predominantly black city. So I think Buttigieg is going to have a tough time tonight. I think he's going to get more questions as since he's now leading in some Iowa polls and one shitty New Hampshire poll. But I think he's going to have a tough time. And I think, again, if Buttigieg was going to have a surge, I'm glad it's happening now. I think he's going to be exposed. I also think if any of the candidates are smart and watch Status Coup, they should ask, hey, Pete, what have you done to make sure that the homeless in South Bend, Indiana have shelter? I just did an interview with a South Bend activist, Arakel Blas, resident activist. She was doing more journalism than the reporters in this country. She put in freedom of information requests and many other things. Basically, there is no shelter for homeless people as it's already freezing in the Midwest. South Bend, about 90 minutes, I believe, from Chicago. There is no shelter from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. for homeless people in South Bend, Indiana. The public library that was being used as a place of shelter is under construction. This is the mayor's responsibility. Also, Mayor Pete and his administration have tried to sweep up the homeless, like we've seen from other neoliberal scoundrels in San Francisco, Seattle, and other places. So I would love to see him have to answer for the basics. You're going to run for president? You're going to run a military? You're going to run a country of 330 million people when you can't even provide basic services for the most vulnerable in South Bend, Indiana? No, thank you. No, thank you. 350 people watching, 211 likes. Can I get 150 likes? Press that like button. It's a thumbs up button right under the video. I forgot to tell you, we're also live on Twitch. We got 12 people watching on Twitch. We're trying to grow there. How many followers do we have on Twitch now? Wow, 152 followers on Twitch. Growing slow but steady. So definitely follow us on Twitch. We're trying to grow there outside of YouTube because you never know with YouTube. You just never know with YouTube. One day you hear, the next day they might kick you off. We want to make sure we grow elsewhere. So if everybody follows us on Twitch, that is a great thing for us. Also, thank you for the super chat, Henry Volt 35, $5. So I just thought of something. Unless they have an early one in March, this will be the last debate before they start voting in California. Tonight is crucial. No, that's not true. This is not the last debate before California. There will be other debates, I believe, before Iowa, and I think before New Hampshire. So I'm not sure what debate schedule you're looking at, but this is not the last debate. This might be the last debate for Cory Booker, Amy Klobuchar. So that's that. So we're off of Buttigieg. I think tonight will hurt him more than help him. Let's move on to, I'm sorry to say, Tulsi Gabbard, who apparently you're evil if you dare criticize her. I think Tulsi Gabbard, to tell you the truth, I don't know how much funding she has to continue. I think Tulsi Gabbard, I agree with her on a lot of things, primarily her foreign policy. I think she's been great on ending the wars, ending regime change. Correct me if I'm wrong, those in the audience. I did see criticism of her because I did not see a strong statement on the Bolivia coup going on in Bolivia from her. If she's come out since then, happy to correct myself, but I did not see anything from Tulsi Gabbard on Bolivia. Bernie Sanders came out calling it what it is, a coup. So, with Tulsi, listen, Oh, Ariana Grande endorsed Bernie. That's huge. Did that happen today? Ooh, shows my pop culture. I know who Ariana Grande is. That is a great endorsement for Bernie Sanders, which will definitely help him in his main demographic that he's pushing, bringing out more young people, bringing out new voters, for sure. So I think Tulsi Gabbard, at this point, listen, I can't get in her head. I don't think at this point she's running necessarily to be president. I think Tulsi Gabbard realizes that it is not looking good for her. I think she's running potentially to be on a Bernie ticket or in a Bernie cabinet. I think she's running to elevate her national profile. Obviously, I could be wrong, but I think Tulsi Gabbard is also running because she truly believes in something, which is ending the military-industrial complex, which is not going to happen in one election cycle. It might not happen in our lifetime, frankly. Ariana has 67 million followers. Jeez. Hey, Michael or somebody, if you could put in the live chat where her endorsement is. I don't know if it's on Twitter or Instagram, but that would be great so people could see it. So I think Tulsi, I'm not saying her role in the debate is to be an attack dog for Bernie. I'm not saying that at all. But I think her role is to be an attack dog. I think the last debate, she attacked the media. I think she definitely attacked the media for pushing this nonsense of her being a Russian asset, this and that. I think she needs to attack other candidates. I would love to see her attack, respectfully, Elizabeth Warren, who every time she talks about foreign policy is a mess. She just had an interview with Pod Save America where she's recognized Juan Guaido as the legal endorsement. Is the legal leader of Venezuela. He's not the legal leader of Venezuela. The Venezuelan constitution was trampled on. He is a U.S. inserted right-wing leader. So I think Elizabeth Warren needs to be taken on about that. She also talked about how Maduro has totally ravaged Venezuela and the U.S. needs to keep on the sanctions. A report from the UN came out that, I don't know if it was the UN, but a report did come out saying Venezuela, 40,000 people have died as a direct effect from U.S. sanctions. Sanctions are violence, whether it's in Venezuela, in Iran, or elsewhere. People starve. People suffer from these sanctions. Elizabeth Warren has called for it. Who's knocking at my door? Hold on. Sorry, my dog is home, Rusty. So she has been actively propping up the military-industrial complex, and she's never really had to answer for it, to tell you the truth. So I hope Tulsi Gabbard will go after her on that. I hope Tulsi Gabbard will go after Joe Biden, which we have not seen happen yet. Sometimes we've heard Tulsi Gabbard say things that kind of came off complimentary of, hello, Father, kind of came off complimentary of Joe Biden, almost defending her. So I hope Tulsi gets her point across, but also goes on the attack against candidates that deserve it. Andrew Yang, sorry, Yang Gang, I'm not super into Andrew Yang. I think he's had some good moments in the Super Chat. In the Super Chat. The dog and my dad distracted me. I think he's had some good moments in the debates. I like when he frames things as when we're talking about Trump, we're losing. But I just don't think Andrew Yang is resonating beyond his extreme base. And I think that's not going to change. He's kind of come off wish-washy. I believe in the principle of Medicare for all, but not getting rid of private insurance. We've already heard his UBI, which, as I've reported and I've done interviews on, his UBI is not the right version of UBI. Dad is tired. He works 7 days a week. So that's all I have to say about Andrew Yang. Before I get to the main candidates, I want to talk about Juan S. 999 in the Super Chat. Hey, Jordan, I just found out about this channel. I was like, where's that TYT reporter that went ham on the DNC? I quit watching TYT because I couldn't deal with the Trump news. Can't wait to see your content. Juan S., welcome to the media revolution. You, by the way, just for people that are like, Why are you calling for people to press the like button so much? Why are you calling for all these things? Why do you keep talking about suppression? Juan S. is a perfect example of why I'm doing that. Do you know how many times, for example, when I went on Jimmy Dore, I believe 2 or 3 times, we go up probably after that 1,000 to 2,000 subscribers in about a week or two, and the comments start flooding in. Jordan, I didn't know you were back. I have to respond. Been back for a year and a half. What do you mean? A lot of people that used to watch me at TYT have no idea Status Coup exists. So that's why I'm saying press the like button. That's why I'm saying share. We are also going to create a Status Coup Discord. I know a lot of you have asked for that, so we're going to create a Status Coup Discord. We can't do it now because Jen and I are up to our eyeballs working on this investigative story, but we will be doing it. And that's why we're trying to grow the Status Coup text alert system. The more people that we could alert when we're live, we're going to send a text message tonight after the debate to let you know we're live. The better way, the easier we have to work around the YouTube suppression. Because I bet you Juan S. has not seen Status Coup. Somehow he stumbled on it today, but did not know. So Juan S., welcome to the revolution. Happy to have you. Hope you consider, like the rest of you, signing up as a member, because you could join our members call tomorrow night. Jen and I, our monthly video call with our members. You could become a member today for as low as a cup of coffee a month. It supports our in-the-field journalism. It makes a huge, huge difference. Sign up, statuscoup.com/join. Again, you can become a member for as low as a cup of coffee. Sorry, as the screen goes black, I didn't load it in time. There you go. $5 a month, $10 a month, $179 annually. Every member counts. Trying to get to 1,000 by the end of this year, so we definitely have some work to do. So let's move on to Say It Ain't So. Let's move on to Say It Ain't So Joe. Joe Biden, who, honestly, I mean, what do you even say about this man? Hey, designer, I made you a Discord. Yeah, we got your email, designer. Thank you very much. I don't know anything about Discord. I know we're going to use it, though. What do you say about Joe Biden? Now, I mean, if it wasn't enough that he's saying, oh, no, all we got to do is get me in office and I'm going to break this 3-decade fever and I'm going to make the Republicans reasonable. Then in the debate, he's talking about playing old records. Now he's saying marijuana, we can't legalize it because it's a gateway drug. Hey, 1990 called. They want their candidate back. This guy is running in 1990. But I think why Joe Biden is having success still, even though he cannot go to, he's very lucky it's only 2 hours tonight instead of 3 hours. Clearly, 3 hours, his cognitive impairments are showing. But Joe Biden is very lucky because he has... Hey, Rust. I hope you see my dog. Joe Biden is very lucky because he is very, very popular among older African Americans, just like Hillary Clinton was. I'm not going to white-splain older African Americans in my experience in the field. They tend to stick with what they know. Obviously, they've been lied to and, had a lot of empty promises provided to them since the beginning of America. So it makes sense. Why they like Joe Biden. Obviously, Biden has wrapped himself around President Obama for dear, ever-loving life. So it's going to take a lot for Biden to be knocked down a peg. And I think get him on... Do you know how heavy this dog is to get him on camera? Ugh. Rusty, come here. When he comes, I'll try to get him on camera. So the only way that I think Joe Biden could really be taken down a notch is from Bernie Sanders. Because from what I've seen, Bernie is the best at going at Biden with policy critiques that don't come off like he is, flying off the handle, this and that. His policy critiques so far against Joe Biden. No, the debate is at 9 p.m. Eastern. I think the coverage starts at 8, but the debate starts at 9 o'clock Eastern. I think Bernie so far, and I'm going to get to Bernie in a bit, has done a great job at going after Biden for basically being a fraud to the working class on TPP, on NAFTA, on the Iraq War, those kinds of things. And obviously, black people are negatively affected too by NAFTA, TPP. Plenty of black people live in the Midwest. Plenty of black people work. But I think Bernie needs to go after Biden a little bit more on the major issues of crime. I have not seen Bernie go after Biden on the crime bill. I have not seen Bernie go after Biden on these crazy things he used to say, like, I don't want them near my mother, dog whistling about putting more criminals in jail. He was talking about black people. Hello, my friend from Brazil. So I think Bernie needs to make some more targeted attacks at Biden. I also think he needs to talk about Biden and pushing the Iraq war and the bankruptcy bill and Glass-Steagall deregulation. It's not talked about much. The financial crash of 2008 disproportionately hammered black people. More black people were foreclosed on than white people. So I think these points need to be made against Joe Biden because that will help. It's not going to totally change anything. You know, a lot of older black supporters, particularly in South Carolina, are going to stick with him no matter what. But it might start to actually enter some doubt into some black voters' head. It's like, wait a minute, this guy might have been with President Obama, but is he really on the policy? Has he really helped us or hurt us? The media certainly hasn't presented those things that I just presented to you. Oh no. And frankly, none of the candidates have. Aside from Kamala Harris and the whole segregation thing in the first debate, Joe Biden is pretty much skated on his record on civil rights and things like that. He's pretty much skated on the fact that early on in the 1970s, he said, I'm paraphrasing, I don't think white people should have to apologize for the sins of our fathers, and I don't believe in giving a head start now to black people. I think these things need to come out. I think Bernie Sanders is in the best position to do it. The other thing with Biden is, what are his actual key proposals? Like, if you think Bernie, you're thinking Medicare for all, right? You think Andrew Yang, UBI. You thinking Warren, I don't know, I guess Medicare for all, but I'm going to get to that in a minute. What are his main proposals? What is he running on, other than being Barack Obama's BFF? A return to normalcy. He is not an answer for the times we live in. He is not an answer to this. And I don't see that argument being made by anyone. He is not forward-leaning. He talks about, we're going to, this is the United States of America, and there's not a damn thing we could do other than Medicare for all, other than free public college, other than a Green New Deal, other than ending private prisons, other than banning fracking. We could do anything we set our mind to, other than the most important things to save our planet, people, and economy. So Biden, honestly, with 10 people on the debate stage, I think it helps Biden more than anyone else because he gets his turn, but he's not going to talk that much. And not talking that much, basically he gets to present himself, and I'm sure his campaign is very happy for making a calamitous, disastrous mistake, or a moment where he starts stumbling and mumbling and forgetting things worse than he has so far. All it's going to take is one moment where Joe Biden basically stalls and the clear cognitive issues he's been having catch up with him. And that one moment is going to scare the hell out of all voters. So I think Biden, to me, tonight's debate isn't the biggest opportunity for him, nor the biggest risk. I think unless there's a calamitous statement he makes, and when I say calamitous, I don't mean the actual thing he says, I mean the way he says it. If he totally forgets his train of thought, if he stumbles and mumbles to the point where it sounds like he's inebriated, that will be looped, at least by progressives, over and over. But I don't think Biden's campaign is going to, be make or break after this. I think tonight's debate is super, super important for Pete Buttigieg. I think he will be brought down a peg. I also think it's very important for the next person I want to talk to, Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren. Do I have? Hold on. Who, screen's going to go black. Just 1 second. Who, as I reported yesterday, in case you missed it, Elizabeth Warren, she's got her donors doing the dirty work now. Yeah, a story came out in Politico basically saying she basically has her donors doing all the dirty work. Where is that? Oh no, did I lose it? Oh, I know where it is. Hold on. Do, do, do. She has her donors doing all the heavy lifting. Apparently, they're flying big donors around to her campaign events. When the campaign was asked by Politico to confirm or deny whether they're flying donors all around to big events, no comment. When a campaign says no comment on something like that, that's an answer in itself. I think Elizabeth Warren, her campaign and her polling numbers have slid. Her polling numbers have slid as she's been sliding, aka moonwalking, away from firm positions. First it was I'm with Bernie. Then it became, well, it's a good runway. Bernie's given us a runway. It's a framework. Now we're going to do a public option at first. And then in year 3, after we pass a public option, like passing a public option is some simple thing to do. Who turned the lights out? Yes, there is a light out. I'm sorry. Great graphic. Thank you, Colin Tooley. So what's amazing about Warren, she has the same exact consultants in her ear that have been losing to Republicans for the last decade. Because Warren does have some Hillary Clinton people on her team. That has not been reported. I've reported it. She actually put a Hillary Clinton staffer in charge of her Michigan campaign, the state of Michigan. So Warren is getting the same bad advice from the same loser consultants who have lost to Republicans for years, saying you can't hang out on this Medicare for All island. It's going to kill you in the general. You got to start pivoting now, or you're going to get creamed in the general. And as she has pivoted, because, by the way, she's proposing a public option within 100 days, and then in her 3rd year, she's going to ask Congress to pass Medicare for All. Does she think it is just going to be a simple, easy thing, even within the first 100 days, to pass a public option? Like, that's just a simple thing? No. And by the way, I asked Mama Sheridan, there's no way to fix that light. It has to do with the fixture. But anyway, I'm setting up a green screen in the next few days, so it won't be a problem. She is getting bad advice because she doesn't have the courage of her convictions. I am sure Bernie Sanders, in his career, has been told to moderate his positions by some advisors. I am sure Bernie Sanders has been told, you got to play ball. Bernie Sanders won't do that because he's in politics. He's in the game for a bigger reason than just getting elected or staying elected. Elizabeth Warren is different. That's why I've been for Bernie from jump. And I think Elizabeth Warren is now going to have to defend. You've been all over the place. You were for Medicare for All. Now you're for Medicare for All in the 3rd year after your party, the Democratic Party, probably will lose the midterms in 2022. After that, after the Democrats possibly lose the midterms, because it's tended to go that way, Democrats or Republicans win the White House. 2 years later, their party loses one house or both of Congress. So Elizabeth Warren, after possibly losing one house or the Senate or whatever, is then going to fight for Medicare for All? Come on, folks. Remember, Barack Obama in 2007 and 8 said, I'm going to fight for a public option. I might even fight for universal health care. Right out of the gate, he abandoned it. He didn't fight for it, and he had both houses of Democrats. And you have to look. I didn't at the time because I was less politically aware and a little bit more naive. You got to look, who are the candidates surrounding themselves with? Obama was surrounding himself during the campaign with Wall Streeters. Warren, as Politico reported and I talked about yesterday, her treasurer is called a personal PAC man. Paul Eagerman, a personal PAC man, has donated millions to the Democratic Party and helped raise millions for the Democratic Party. She has other aides that are heavy in the Democratic establishment. This is who she's surrounding herself with. This is who not her, but her treasurer and another top aide are flying in wealthy donors. If that weren't true, they would have told Politico, that is not true, retract. Somebody said, you should check it. It's Politico. Double confirm it. First of all, I don't have the time. I'm working on a big story with Jen. But secondly, I know how this game is played. If you have the truth on your side, if that is false, you come out and say so. Bernie Sanders ain't flying in rich people to his events. I can tell you that much. I think Elizabeth Warren is probably going to have a tough time tonight because I think other candidates see that she's sliding and particularly Amy Klobuchar, think they could have a breakout moment by exposing Elizabeth Warren's wish-washiness, by exposing the fact that if she's already moonwalking away from Bernie, they're going to compliment Bernie. Bernie, we don't agree with you, but at least you're being honest with the American people. Elizabeth Warren is talking about paying for a Medicare for All plan by passing comprehensive immigration reform, cutting the military budget, even though she voted for two of Trump's massive military budgets. Those are actually pie in the sky. I'm not saying a president, Bernie or Warren, can't pass comprehensive immigration reform, but let's not pretend that would be an easy thing or an automatic thing. And by the way, Medicare for All ain't going to be automatic for Bernie Sanders either. It's going to take a movement. And dare I say why I disagree with Elizabeth Warren, and frankly, I might get a little heat for this, as much as I want to be very clear, as much as I think Adi, I don't want to mispronounce, Adi Barkan, obviously he has been a champion for Medicare for All. He is a very, very sick man with ALS. I think he has done a whole lot among activists and normal citizens to bring consciousness to the immoral, evil system we have in this country. I do not criticize him at all for making an endorsement. He endorsed Elizabeth Warren today. I don't agree with that endorsement, and I could tell you why, but I don't think, I'm not going to go after him. Adi Barkan is not a sellout. He just has a different opinion. But I think what Adi, who again, I'm not criticizing, I sympathize with him and everything he's going through. He probably doesn't have that much longer to live. But I think what Adi misses, and I think what people who support Medicare for All misses, the biggest legislative but cultural changes that we've ever had in this country did not come from superior plans. They did not come from more specific details. Martin Luther King, and I believe the fight for health care is about our rights. It is about life or death. Obviously, it's different than, black people fighting for equal rights, but I think the fight for health care is a civil right. I think it is a life or death issue. So Martin Luther King did not succeed because he had a more comprehensive plan for civil rights, right? Martin Luther King did not succeed. Harvey Milk, the LGBT hero, did not succeed because he had a better white paper or he was more wonky, right? Gloria Steinem did not succeed because she, had a better PowerPoint presentation. They succeeded because they created, with a lot of help, they created a movement that demanded the change. They created a movement that forced people like Lyndon B. Johnson to negotiate. You think Lyndon B. Johnson was signing anything for voting rights or any other civil right if he didn't realize, wow, that Martin Luther King and that movement that he's created, these protesters, they're creating real political problems for me. Love waves. Go away. These people who criticize, you smearing Tulsi because you dare criticize Tulsi on something. I cannot take people like this with the blinders. There are people on YouTube that literally have their heads so far up Tulsi Gabbard's behind, they cannot see straight. So if me daring to say anything negative about Tulsi Gabbard, by the way, I've said plenty negative about Bernie Sanders, if that's smearing, you need to go somewhere else. Sorry. But what's puzzling to me is these people are just taking on faith. Bernie Sanders, by the way, he has a demonstrated ability to create massive change through movements. Because, I love my girlfriend. She might be watching. We have a difference of opinion on this. But when you look at Elizabeth Warren, she has never gotten anything done legislatively through movements behind her. She has not gotten anything done by not just legislative, but talking about outside pressure through movements. She has had a lot of viral videos knocking bankers and corporate CEOs in hearings. I love it. I think the Consumer Financial Bureau was a great thing. It wasn't done through a movement, but she deserves credit. But Bernie Sanders, in the last year, not through legislation, through a movement and a pressure campaign, got Amazon to raise the richest man in the world. He got to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. That's not some small thing. Bernie Sanders, through a movement, helped make Disney raise their minimum wage. Bernie Sanders with Ro Khanna, through movement. It wasn't just legislative maneuvering. They had a movement behind them of people fighting to pass the War Powers Act, to use the War Powers Act to get the Senate, Republicans, and the House to enact the War Powers Act to stop aiding Saudi Arabia in genocide in Yemen. Obviously, Trump didn't sign it, but these are not small things. These are major things that were done through organizing, both on the ground organizing, door knocking, and digital organizing, which is another component. Bernie Sanders' campaign has revolutionized. Obama started it in 2008. He totally dropped the ball. He never used it as president. Bernie Sanders' campaign is revolutionizing digital campaigning and digital marketing. He has his own little digital TV operation. So, to me, you're going to pass universal health care in this country. Again, I'm not criticizing Adi. I empathize with his struggle. And I will not stand for anyone calling him a sellout and these things. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, but respect the man. He's dying. He just has a different opinion. And by the way, it was also pointed out to me, it was kind of baked into the cake that he was going to endorse Warren. Adi's book basically said, I'm going to meet, this was from 2018, I'm going to meet with Senator Warren in a couple hours. I'm going to urge her to run for president and offer my support. I wonder what she'll say. So it's not like there was previous support. I don't agree with it, but there was previous support. And something that, from his piece in The Nation, that stood out to me as, again, he's entitled to his opinion. I respect it. But kind of naive, to be honest with you, is, where is it? Did I miss it? Day one. Okay. The plan begins on day one of her presidency with some important executive actions to lower prescription drug prices and constrain the political power of big healthcare companies. Of course, those executive actions are going to be immediately thrown into the courts, lawsuit after lawsuit. The Republican judges that Mitch McConnell has been packing courts all over the country with might knock them down. Then in her first 100 days, she will ask the Congress to pass a massive expansion and enhancement of Medicare, including a generous Medicare for All option. Here's what the law would do. Radically improve Medicare so it fully covers long-term dental, vision, hearing, mental health, and substance abuse. Lower the eligibility age for Medicare to 50, giving 57 million people the ability to enroll immediately. Create a Medicare for All option that offers totally free comprehensive health care to 135 million Americans. Yada, yada, yada. So, again, I'm not denying Adi's struggle. I'm not denying his expertise. Ask Congress to enact a massive expansion. Ask Congress to expand Medicare. Lower it to Medicare to 50. Create a Medicare for All option that offers totally free. This is, frankly, naive. She's going to ask Congress, and they're just going to do it? Elizabeth Warren has shown in this campaign and in recent years, her approach is to play within the system. Her approach is to play within the game. Well, the game is, it doesn't matter if she becomes president. If the Democrats have the House, let's say the Democrats win the Senate. You think Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are just waving the white flag and saying, all right, President Warren, you won. 70% of the people, by then, who knows, it might be 80, want Medicare for all. We surrender. Here it is. No amendments. Your exact plan. There you go. This is fairy tales. And again, I want to be clear because I don't want to be distorted. I respect Adi. I respect Adi. Obviously, he's a sick man. He has fought to get Medicare for all and fought to raise the consciousness of his struggle and millions of other people with health issues. But when you're wrong, you're wrong. And he's wrong. He's wrong. And by the way, in his piece, it doesn't even mention her pay for, which again, I don't even buy into this nonsense of we need to pay for it. No, we don't. There's a thing called modern monetary theory. I've covered it on the show. We already have the money to pay for Medicare for all. It's a drop in the bucket compared. It just came out today. $6.4 trillion. $6.4 trillion. $6.4 trillion we've spent in Iraq and Afghanistan. We got the money. It's called we print the money for the wars. We could print the money for this. So, Warren needs to be asked your assumptions for how you're going to pay for it. Again, I don't agree with it, but that's the world we live in. You know, this fantasy that we need to find, we got to pay for it. But you're not going to, like, if a major part of how you're going to pay for it is just assuming you're going to pass comprehensive confirmation immigration reform, which has been a struggle for 30 years. Last time it was changed was under Reagan, which didn't go far enough. If you're just assuming you're going to cut the military budget, are you kidding me? She's going to do comprehensive immigration reform and put a dent in the military-industrial complex? If anyone actually thought Elizabeth Warren could achieve that, she would be running away with this thing. So I think a lot of people who might respect intelligence, might respect wonkiness, might respect a more comprehensive plan, is missing the part that plans only matter if they could get through. Plans only matter if there's an infrastructure to get them to the finish line. I haven't seen anything in Elizabeth Warren's career that she could get anything to the finish line. She got the Consumer Financial Bureau to the finish line. She deserves credit. As a senator, there's not much there. There is not much there as a senator. So I think Elizabeth Warren tonight is going to be attacked. I think she's going to be attacked on moonwalking away from Medicare for all. I hope Tulsi Gabbard, who I have not smeared, everything I've said is factual, goes after her on foreign policy. And I hope Bernie, he's shied away from, I don't even want to say going after her, but even addressing differences. I hope he points out, I respect Elizabeth Warren. She's a friend of mine. I think she's a great senator. But I think her Medicare for all plan, which obviously is somewhat of a change from her being with me, is inadequate. And here's why. We need Bernie Sanders to draw a contrast without being overly aggressive and attacked in the media. Which brings me to Bernie Sanders, the moment of truth. I have criticized Bernie Sanders since 2016 for going to a knife fight holding a spoon. The last debate was the most aggressive I've seen Bernie Sanders, but the problem with Bernie Sanders, for those of you keeping score at home, he tends to do really well in one debate and then not keep that momentum in the next debate. He tends to come out swinging in one debate and then the next debate hold his punches, sometimes go for long periods without getting involved, and kind of not bomb but not soar either. I think Bernie Sanders needs to come out. You know, it's that kind of thing if you follow sports, right? Sometimes in sports, you might in a series. So if you're in the World Series, for example, your team, it's a best out of 4. So whichever team, it's a best out of 7 in the World Series. So whichever team wins 4 games first wins the World Series. Sometimes a team can be up 3-1, right? And the coach says, you have to look at this game. We might be ahead, but we need to act like if we lose tonight, we're out. We need to act like we are fighting for our lives. We cannot become complacent. We need to act tonight like we are fighting for our life, and in this case, fighting for our political life. I think that's how Bernie Sanders needs to act, even though he's been steadily rising in the polls. Bernie Sanders needs to, Jen uses this phrase sometimes, Bernie Sanders needs something called a pattern interrupt. Bernie Sanders needs to come out and basically make everybody realize this Pete fella, this Yang fella, my friend Tulsi, Warren, no. I created the movement. I'm the reason Medicare for All is being even talked about and discussed. And the only way to beat Trump, who clearly is becoming more of a dictator by day, is with a movement. And he needs to come out fighting for his political life. Not because if he had a bad debate, it would be over, but because it's 2 months. Actually, it's less than 2 months now from the Iowa caucus. And he went down, now he's going up a little bit, but he needs something that's going to help him move up significantly. And I think the way to do that, frankly, is to figuratively beat the living hell out of Joe Biden. I really do. Joe Biden cannot defend himself on policy. And Joe Biden, frankly, is so arrogant and is cognitively not prepared. I don't mean that in a rude way. I don't mean that in a way to demean him. But cognitively, it's very clear to anyone who has eyes. He's not what he used to be. Bernie Sanders, thankfully for him, is cognitively there. Since his heart attack, he's also been, energy-wise, a different person. I think Bernie Sanders needs to come with everything but the kitchen sink, primarily at Joe Biden. Like I said, I'd like him to draw a contrast with Warren, but I don't think Bernie's biggest opportunity is actually not from Warren voters. Although the corporate media has tried to make it seem like, oh, Warren is the other progressive in this race. Warren has taken a lot of Bernie's vote. That's actually not true if you look at the numbers. Warren's strongest demographic is the college educated, is those people making more money, is kind of a blend of the Hillary Clinton voting base with particularly educated people making more than $50,000. Joe Biden's, this is truly twisted, and it truly shows you how misinformed the general viewer is, how misinformed people are by our media. This is why you need to become a Status Coup member. Good segue. We'd like to get to 750 by the end of the night. We got some work to do. Let's see if we can get some more members. By the way, if you came late, tomorrow is our monthly members call. Sign up today. statuscoup.com/join. Become a member. statuscoup.com/join. You will get a video link for our members call. So we look forward to seeing you tomorrow night. Join us tonight. 7:30, tomorrow night, but you got to join us today to become a member. statuscoup.com/join. But the truth is, Bernie came with something last time. I don't know if it was because he had not near death. I mean, he wasn't on death's door, but a heart attack is a heart attack, right? But something clicked in him. And I think what Bernie needs to do is basically come and redeclare, I'm the one who started this all. I'm the reason the country is moving left. Not in an arrogant way. Not in a, I'm God's gift to the world way. But in a way that subtly shows that, there's a lot of imposters here. I also think, Pete Buttigieg probably will try some of that pass the torch business tonight. I think sometimes you could draw a contrast by showing an older person knocking the hell out of an arrogant asshole younger person. And I think Bernie Sanders, not that he has to spend that much time on Pete Buttigieg, but I do think Bernie Sanders should say, it doesn't matter what generation you're in. It matters, are you going to save the generations for tomorrow? It matters, are you going to help the younger generation? It matters, is your plans, are you offering something different for the generations to come than has been America's status quo? I don't think anyone has drawn that contrast, because Pete Buttigieg, he could talk about his generation all he wants. He's basically offering a version of Barack Obama neoliberalism with a side of Midwestern twang. That's what he's offering. He has no accomplishments. In South Bend, Indiana, crime has gone up. In South Bend, Indiana, it has been gentrified to the point where people are starting to get priced out. In South Bend, Indiana, he has done nothing about a white police officer shooting a black man, Eric Logan, and killing him. South Bend, Indiana, I talked about it in an interview. Homeless people have nowhere to go during the day. Somebody asked when the members call is tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern. You'll get a link if you are a member or if you become one. Statuscoup.com/join, 7:30 Eastern tomorrow, 4:30 Pacific. Members call, Jen and I. So the bottom line is, I think Bernie, the time for niceties are over. Frankly, I don't want to hear anymore from Bernie Sanders about my good friend. He could say it about Warren if he wants to. The time for friendship is over, Bernie. You want friends? Go on a hike. If your doctor says it's okay. Bernie needs to come with pitchforks. And I want it to be against Biden. Because as many people, as much as a lot of people want him to go after Warren, that is not to his electoral advantage. Going after Biden is. Biden has big support. It is sad. It is twisted. He has a lot of support among people making $50,000 or less. He has a lot of support among people that are only have high school degrees. That is the same demographic that Bernie Sanders exceeds at. By the way, it's the main demographic that Trump excels at. And by the way, we're going to hear a lot. I mean, today you had Sondland's testimony. I didn't watch the whole thing, but you're going to hear a lot about Trump. The only person that I think has spoken super well about Trump is Yang, saying we're losing when we talk about Trump. Obviously, the candidates are going to say, yes, he should be impeached, blah, 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 blah. By the way, I do think he should. I see some progressives saying there's no evidence to impeach him. I don't know if they're just trying to be contrarian, but that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen. I mean, I don't think he's going to be convicted in the Senate. And I think there's much broader problems than Donald Trump trying to bribe a foreign leader. That's just another Tuesday. But to say Donald Trump didn't bribe a foreign leader to get a political investigation is just intentionally putting blinders on. And the Republicans, and frankly, even some progressives that I usually like, are using these semantics like, well, he didn't specifically say quid pro quo. He didn't specifically say, I want you to investigate. He didn't specifically say. Yeah, most of the time when you bribe people, you don't say, here's your bribe. You don't spell it. Here's BRIBE. Here's your quid pro quo. It's ridiculous. But I think Bernie needs to make the case that he won the Michigan primary, that he won the Wisconsin primary, that he is polling very well in most of those Rust Belt states, that he, I think, won, but basically tied in Iowa, that he is doing particularly well in some red states over other Democrats. And lastly, let's not forget, this debate is the Washington Post and NBC News. The Washington Post and NBC News. Rachel Maddow will be one of the moderators. I believe Andrea Mitchell will be one of the moderators. I do not know. Ashley Parker, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, from the Washington Post will be moderating. And Kirsten Welker from NBC. Totally fun, totally great for women. I don't like most of them politically, and I don't think most of them have journalistic ethics, but it's about time we have an all-female moderation panel, so I think that's terrific. Let's be very, very clear. These four women are going to prop up Joe Biden. These four women are going to prop up Pete Buttigieg. These four women are going to prop up Elizabeth Warren. These four women, if Joe Biden lies, will not challenge Joe Biden. These four women, if Pete Buttigieg is being attacked, watch them redirect. They are not paid to do journalism. They are paid to elevate the corporate establishment. And particularly being that one of them is from the Washington Post, I would not be shocked if Bernie Sanders brings some heat against resident oligarch Jeff Bezos. It would not surprise me if Bernie has a good one-liner about Jeff Bezos, about the 16 negative stories, about the Washington Post. Well, he's not going to say it, but I wish somebody would. The Washington Post comparing Elizabeth Warren's selfies line to abolitionist hero Frederick Douglass. Yes, that happened. We think. I think Bernie's going to come out swinging. I think he's going to come out swinging. So that's what I got for the debate. Oh, I forgot Tom Steyer, but do you really need me to talk about Tom Steyer? He'll be there. He'll say some stuff. Hopefully somebody asks him about, his campaign, like paying off Iowa officials or attempting to pay off Iowa officials to endorse him. Other than that, he's just taking up space, to tell you the truth. So that's it. Before I end, let me take a couple comments, questions, concerns. Remember, folks, really trying to grow our membership. We got some great things coming up. Tomorrow is our members call. So if you want to sign up, you can become a member today for as low as $5 to $10 a month. There's the link. Also, remember, join our text alert. Join our text alert. Very important. We want to grow. We will be texting you tonight, so I hope it's not too late for some of you. We will be texting you right before we go live. For the post-debate recap. It is, if you still don't know, text 474747 and write Coup, C-O-U-P. That will get you on our text system, and it's a great way that we could work around YouTube. And I venture to say a lot of you are going to get a text before you get a notification from YouTube, if you get a notification at all. Also, make sure you are following us on Twitch. We got 17 people watching there right now. Might sound like nothing, but better than 2. I think we started 2 weeks ago on Twitch, and we are already growing. And it's really important we grow on other platforms because we are being strategic and we are preparing for potentially a time when YouTube starts really Armageddon and starts closing down channels like this. So we want to make sure we are set up on other outlets. Definitely follow us on Twitch. Even if you don't have a Twitch account, please sign up. Follow us there. It's super important that we grow in other places. And let me answer your questions. Super chats, welcome. Jordan, speaking of South Bend, progressive Eddie Melton is running for Indiana governor. Very good. Very good. If we could grow our membership, I would love to go out and cover it. We do have plans to do some more in the field reporting as soon as we grow our membership, and we also are looking for a new cameraman, which I told you about yesterday. So we are looking for a new cameraman editor. Jen and I have started reaching out to some folks, so we look forward to hiring someone as quickly as possible. What do we got? Bernie could sweep everybody under the carpet and the debate, but mainstream media would not make that apparent. Of course. That's why digital and independent media is super importantly. Honestly, most people on stage are more to the right of Steyer than to his left. That's true. Vote Bernie and save your lives and save the world, Chris says. Tulsi Gabbard, other candidates such as Warren should tread lightly lest she pull out the lead pipe. Oh, boy. That's pretty graphic. He wrote the damn bill. I'm waiting for another one of those tonight. This is better than sports and Lost in Space. Never made another episode, damn it. Status Coup has 2 or 3 streams of Warren's daughter's connections when Warren Working Families Party endorsement. Yep, we did break that story. Chris, 11,000 teachers showed up at Indiana State House and our Republican governor skipped town. That is not surprising. That is not surprising at all. Vote Bernie to watch the MSM wet themselves for years. The MSM, talk about Wall Street, big pharma, big oil. They would have a seizure. Status Quo has done a lot. Please be patient with growth. Who's being impatient with growth? I didn't see who was being impatient. Thoughts on Jank running? I already talked about that twice, so I'm not going to talk about it again. Twitch sucks. All gaming and almost no real political coverage. We're trying to set this thing on fire. We're trying to create an audience. And Colin, our wonderful video editor and graphics person, is working on that. Hope Bernie mentions the blackout. Bernie doesn't tend to mention that, but I think he's going to go after the Washington Post if he can. Kelly Elaine, this is our last chance for Bernie. A true public servant doesn't come around every election. Every election? barely comes around once in a lifetime. Bernie is I think, once in a generational candidate for sure. No one is being impatient. I just mentioned it. True, Paul. True. I'm impatient. I want to grow quicker. YouTube's making it hard. Anzu, Jordan, please make sure more appearances on Rising. Both are such great shows. Tell them to invite me on. I'm ready. I'm waiting. They haven't invited me on. They invited me on a few weeks ago, but then they canceled, and didn't reschedule. So I don't know. I'm a fan of Crystal Ball and Sagar. I spoke with Crystal last week, so would love to go on there. Dale, any expectations for what's going on tonight? I've been talking about it for an hour and a half. I think Pete Buttigieg is going to have a tough time. I think he hasn't been challenged, and I think he's going to be challenged, and I think that's a good thing. Welcome, new Status Coup member, Rick. Welcome to the Media Revolution, Rick. We are now at 738 members. And a reminder, for those of you still on the fence, you could become a member today or tomorrow and get invited to our monthly members call, where we have a great time with our members. It's a video call. You don't have to be on video. You could mute your video if you don't want to be on camera. But we have a great time. It's definitely TMI. We take questions, comments, concerns. And Jen and I will be talking tomorrow about a lot of very, very interesting things that I think you're going to want to know about. So sign up and welcome to the party. Rick, statuscoup.com/join for others who want to join and support real independent journalism. Manic, $5 in the super chat. Bernie has the most individual military vet contributions, double that of Trump. Yes, that's a very good point. That is a very good point. The veterans and the military support Bernie. Look at that. Someone who wants to end the endless wars. And someone who's consistent on ending these nonstop military coups. BH, The Hill and the Rolling Stone thing, and Rogan. Get Jordan on. Do you know how many times we've reached out to Joe Rogan? I mean, I don't have his number, but his show. We do hope that with the story Jen and I are close to breaking, it's going to be massive. I mean, I'm not dressing this up or teasing you on making it bigger than it is. This is a big effing deal, man. This story we're working on. And we just found out new stuff today, which is going to make it even bigger. So hopefully, once we break it, we'll be invited on Rogan and other shows, because definitely that would be good for Status Coup's exposure, for sure. So that's it for the first live stream of the day. We'll be back after the debate. I will be live tweeting the debate. So you can follow me at Jordan Chariton on the Twitter. And I look forward to giving you my recap tonight. I will try to stay awake for sure. No, I'll be awake, and I'll be live. I might go live like a little bit before the debate ends, just because like the last 20 minutes of the debate are usually crap. But I will be on live later. So look out around 10:40 Eastern to 11 o'clock Eastern. And also make sure you join our text alert system. I know I keep telling you, but we are going to send out a text alert tonight, so you get an update, just in case YouTube chooses not to notify you. So all you got to do, if you don't understand it, go to your phone, type in, go to text, click on the icon to start a new text, and then type in 474747. Once you put that in, type in Coup. Type in Coup, and you will join our text system. Super, super important. Artificial Morphicin, $5. Remember, there will be tons of new youth votes for Bernie that were too young in 2016. And I got to look. I was live when somebody told me Ariana Grande endorsed Bernie. So I think a lot of those youth, the youngins, are going to be looking at Bernie now. Even people that aren't necessarily diehards into politics might be looking into Bernie, because Ariana Grande, she's got the following, man. She has got the following. Thank you for watching. I appreciate the support. Keep signing up as a member, and I will see you after the debate tonight. Peace out.
Brand new reaction coming in from Rudy Giuliani.
And right now, President Trump's former top advisor on Russia.
More breaking news tonight on Rudy Giuliani.
Trump lawyer Rudy Giuliani is under criminal investigation.
President Trump is not going to cooperate.
The latest on impeachment.
Impeachment investigation. President Trump.
President Trump. President Trump.
President Trump.
President Trump.
President Trump's
educational issues with the children that have been poisoned. We're at one of the encampments that homeless people are living at.
It's really discouraging to notice these similarities where you have the administration going, there's absolutely nothing wrong with your water, but here, take these filters.
Are you on Social Security?
I am, but I work a full-time business.
I know, but you're aware Social Security is a socialist program.
Well, that's beside the point.